Hey, what's up, my friend?
Hello, hello.
How's it going?
It's going good. Yeah, pretty solid week so far.
Yeah, good.
Things are moving along.
Sorry,
How
last
about
minute
you?
adjustments. Here we go. What's new and exciting in the Stammer world?
Oh, yeah. Right now, we're trying to kind of like a twofold thing. Like we're testing out new marketing opportunities, trying to do more outbound marketing rather than just inbound.
Nice.
Some of our organic traffic has been like declining and like the aggregate. So trying to figure out. It's interesting because like the overall traffic is has been down, but trials and accounts are steady.
That's a good thing. Maybe it's an indication of traffic quality. And clearly
Well,
it is.
yeah, and that the our sales team has been saying that the quality of the leads has been much higher recently, and the quality of the meetings has been higher.
Dude, this is a good thing. Less
So
meetings, less leads, higher quality everything, same number of new customers coming in, just better conversion stats.
yeah,
That's great.
exactly.
That's great.
Yeah, so like that, and then also just like figuring out and not redefining, but just clarifying like what Stammer actually does. Been working on a full website redesign right now, and so much of the content that was on there was built a year, 2 years ago when we were still explaining what AI chatbots and like what AI agents even were.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
So the fact that everything has progressed so far and we're going to be introducing all of the voice features and things like that, like there's going to be a lot of changes, and I'm trying to just simplify it down to exactly what we actually do and who we provide it for and what we do well, and it mimics a lot of the calls that I've been with agencies. Like, this is what we do well, this is what we don't do at all, and we're not trying to just build that because you asked for it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough line to draw. I feel like you're finally at the point where you can confidently make website changes because I know right now we're changing everything in our apps so frequently that if I updated it in the website, I would just spend half my time making website updates. Like it's not even useful.
Yeah, yeah, and I
Same thing
was
for you. You're just releasing features so fast that anytime you change the website, it's like, fuck, no, now it works this way.
well, yeah, and so that's the key. That's the key part. Is it's not like the main addition to the website would be the voice functionality and all that and everything that is entailed with that. But core functionality has remained the same. There's maybe been a few things here and there that we've added, which could be good to add maybe in the breakdown of the features list on the different plans, which is the thing I've been working on for the last couple of days, which has been way more difficult than I was expecting it to be because we have so many things now. But I also realized too with this redesign, I'm not trying to showcase all of the features. I'm just trying to showcase like the main three things that we do really well, the benefits, not the features, and then let the people get into the app to then be able to see those features.
Yeah, yeah, you're selling the sizzle, not the steak.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But one of the coolest things that we've added very recently was alternative model backup. So essentially now when OpenAI goes down, and it's not a question of if they go down, it's just a question of when they
Happens
go
all the
down.
time. It's crazy.
They were down for like another 15 hours on was it Tuesday night to Wednesday morning or something.
Unbelievable.
And our system will automatically detect that they're down and then transfer questions to Grok or Claude, depending on which one that you've selected in the back end. And it makes all the bots still work exactly the same. All the functionality is still there. Function calling, streaming, everything is there.
See, I
And
need I need to do that with Bambi. We've had a few users mention they're like, "Hey, the sleep analysis isn't working." I'm like, "Fucking open AI."
yeah, yep. Yeah, so initially when we launched, we had a banner that went up that said, "Hey, OpenAI is down. Like functionality might be not working right now." But then we're like, "Oh, we should just take it a step further." And it took us like almost a month of development to integrate Claude and Grok because there's a lot of features that they have that are done slightly differently with core functionality. So things like calling functions with streaming, like those are things that were not easy to just, copy and paste code over, so to speak, and just like change
Yeah.
the model.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's been one of the things that people really, really like. And we've had people come into our office hours and they're like, oh my gosh, everybody else's bots were down, but I was able to show that my bots were still up. Everything was still working. And I was like, yep.
And it's so important for a Stammer because it's one thing for you to explain it to an agency. Hey, OpenAI's down. They're gonna be like, yeah, okay, that's fine. But it's another thing for them to explain it to their chiropractor client. It's like, hey, the OpenAI system is down. They're gonna be like, no, it's not. This is $1 billion company. BS excuse. But
Or what is OpenAI? Like they don't.
or that. Yeah, I guess that's the more likely scenario.
They're just like, well, oh, like you're just telling me the service doesn't work. Like,
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
yeah. So, yeah. So things like that, I'm pretty happy with how things like that are moving. We're still working on our voice solution to get that out. Like the initial demos and everything was great, but we're finding issues with scalability right now, where so certain things like call caps and concurrency caps are a very real thing in terms of bandwidth. And we're working on different types of solutions to try to figure out how to be able to offer true scalability, which models our existing business model essentially. And it would be great and it would be totally easy and fine if we were just selling to a business and they were like, oh, how many calls are you getting right now? Or how many concurrent calls do you get on a daily basis? And then we could formulate the system on that way. But because we're selling to an agency and we have no idea what type of clients they're going to sell to, the same questions and issues that we're trying to solve, we also have to think about that from the agency point of view and solve it for them before we give it to them. So that way they know how to express it to their clients. Mm-hmm. That's been extremely difficult.
It's amazing the layers that you have to go through to.
I know. Yeah. On one hand, I think it definitely helps with our retention and churn prevention, because like once people realize all the work that we've kind of done in that for them in that way, that's when people are like, oh, it feels like you built this for me. And it's like, my head has been in your head for even if you didn't know it, but that's where my mind's at right now. And
yeah, and you're thinking about all these. You're thinking about every possible solution, every possible outcome before your customer even knows what they want. You've already thought of a solution for it.
Exactly. Yeah. Which is kind of cool because now I can see those 4, 5, 6 chess moves ahead from a feature release and be like, okay, if I put my agency shoes on or my agency hat, how am I dealing with this, or how am I thinking about this? And then retroactively come back to the dev team and be like, okay, well now we need to make these slight changes because this is how people are most likely going to interact and react to this type of feature. So it's definitely that's definitely something I've realized that I'm pretty good at, but it's exhausting some days.
Yeah. And it's a practice skill. I think part of it is IQ, honestly. Just advanced problem solving is not easy to do. But part of it is also just a practice skill. Like you've gone through the cycle of foreseeing consumer problems and then fixing them before they even arise.
Yeah. And that, like you said, that is also a fine line as well, because we're very much, in the mindset of even if it's not perfect, release it and get feedback on it. So that way these ideas and things that I'm thinking about, how like we can quantify and clarify that feedback is exactly what I'm thinking people would say.
Yeah. Yeah. So just a tight feedback loop from customers you find is important.
Yeah. So, and it's like a fine line between, okay, let's do that work on what I think the feedback will be versus releasing it and then getting the feedback. Thus far, I would say maybe 85% of the time, that feedback immediately is the things that I have calculated. And so now we kind of know that just like let's do those updates or changes before we, it's not going to push our release date back by months. So let's just spend another week on it and then we'll get it out, and then we'll inherently reduce support tickets and, angry customers and things like that.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense.
So
Yeah.
it's definitely fun though. Like, like these are, fun I think it's fun because it is like things that we control and own. It's like we're not making decisions on behalf of a client, like in the agency world.
Mm-hmm.
Any process or decision that we make for these products that we're working on, it like directly reflects either enterprise value, subscription revenue, happier customers.
It affects your users. That's the big thing. That's the big thing with software. You're not making a change that is affecting one client, and
Yeah.
the client is the decider of whether they're happy or not. It's like every change you make will have positive and negative effect. The question is it going to be net positive or net negative? Because you're affecting thousands of users. So like at least I'm thinking of this for feature requests or like, any minor update is going to affect all of your users. So you're thinking about it in a way that what's the greatest good for all of our users.
Yeah. Yeah. Not every feature request is to the benefit of everyone, or the complete opposite. Some features might be to the detriment of most people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I understand that you want this very specific feature, but sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes figuring out the things that you need to say no to is so important. I was just on a call with our co-founder earlier, and we were talking about building like a whole pregnancy feature. Like, because it's going to be the perfect lead in to people using sleep tracking and a breastfeeding tracker and like nutrition tracker. Like if we had a great pregnancy feature, then we can capture the market for that 7 to 9 months beforehand. So we'll get the user in earlier, and then it'll just be like a natural shoe in. They're going to flow into using our other features. Like, yeah, that sounds great, but we're basically building an entirely new app, like a whole new feature set for the pregnancy tracking side, which is, in my opinion, more complicated than a sleep tracker or nutrition tracker. It's very complicated, and the competitors out there are really fucking good. So it's like, do we really want to go down the rabbit hole of building this entire other feature set for a few customers that have requested it with the anticipation of it increasing our lifetime value by like 7 months? It's probably just not worth it.
Not that much. Yeah.
Yeah, probably not worth it. Anyway, in other news, here's I'm going to start doing a thing. Here's what I learned this week at software that's obvious to other people, but not obvious to me. It's my new segment.
Love it.
All right, so the thing that I learned is you will get to a point where it's more important to delete than it is to build. And you just end up deleting shit that you've already done that you thought was important before, but is actually not that important. And you just have to get rid of it. So in our design now, version 2.6, which is now underway, it's very exciting, we have officially deleted the last thing that was released in version 1. So everything that we have now is 100% different from the first version that launched, which is a good thing.
That is a very good thing.
But it's also funny looking back when we first launched, I did the classic like friends and family launch. I messaged a bunch of people I knew that were pregnant or having kids or had kids. And I'm like, hey, can I get your thoughts on it? Can you try it? And I wish I could go back to them and be like, it's so much better now. Trust me. Like, please try it again. But
why don't you?
I still can, but and thankfully they are friends and family, so I could go back and say that. But I think the first impression matters a lot, especially if they're not people that you know. If you're like running ads to get users, you only have one chance to get that first customer.
Definitely.
In terms of using a product.
You might be able to do some sort of back-end email sequences to get people in there. Like
possibly.
Very in-depth screenshots and things where people are like, oh, and you could even call out uh, be like in a headline, like this feature or the food tracker sucks. And then the paragraph underneath is like, we heard you and we updated it and here's what it looks like now.
That's actually not a bad idea. I like that.
Because that could be kind of interesting. Like that could even be like the subject line, like this app sucks. Well, we fixed it.
That's interesting. I might try that. I like that.
Try like a negative hook.
We've also been looking at, I think, ways to increase our average order value because I think our retention is going to be between 2 to 4 years. It's not very long, and the annual value is $45. It's like, okay, so our value is $90 per user. It's just not even close to enough, right? Like, how do you make more revenue out of each user? And we did pre-think about this, so I have it built in, but it's the option to work with specialists within the app. If you want to work with a sleep specialist, a pediatric specialist, a childhood nutritionist, a lactation specialist, all these things are built in to contact them. We just have to build the sales side of it. So it's like we have the URLs to the external links. We just have to like build out the pages and then build out a roster of people that we can, for now, send deals to and make it like get a kickback from, and eventually hire our in-house team of consultants to be able to offer these consultation services, which is what some of the larger competitors do.
Okay. Well, so before you said that, my mind went to how Airbnb just did their update, where they're now like you can now order a chef, you can get a babysitter, you can do this, you can do that. Like imagine if you had 1,000 lactate specialists who are all promoting your app to be able to book with them. Is that
100%.
okay?
So that's part of it. It's like it's a cross promotional piece. It's like if, like you said, 100 lactation consultants are talking about Bambi, getting users on the app, and then we have a round robin of people that are contacting lactation consultants, and it's all, yeah. Anyway, it's a quid pro quo kind of thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking like in anything internal, like you increase your staffing and your internal costs go crazy high versus if you just have everyone, all these specialists are able to add themselves to the app for free. And then just like the passion fruit app that I use for brand deals, like when their system gives me a new deal, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're taking 15% off the top of whatever the amount is." And it has to be done, the transaction has to be done through the app.
It's kind of like why we launched the Discover feature, because we have our customers ask us for recommended products. Like, well, just bring those products into Bambi, and in exchange, have those brands talk about us on their socials and email campaign. That was the whole reason to cut down on our customer acquisition cost and then bring value to the brands at the same time.
But you're also getting a cut though, right?
Not for this. 0 transaction fee. It's an exchange of service.
For who?
For creators and brands. So we have a section in the app where we list recommended brands and recommended products.
Okay.
So
Well, I get why you're doing that now, but for sure you got to renegotiate that to get a cut.
we will, but right now it's a percentage of a small couple thousand users.
That's what I mean. Like once you have the mass of people, like that
Right now,
targeted
we're
audience will be.
building out the user base more so
Yeah.
than taking a transaction fee.
But then for the specialist thing, you should for sure take a percentage.
Yeah. For the specialist thing, for sure, because that's a monetization method that we've thought about, that we are implementing.
Yeah.
So that for sure we need to get a percentage of, because that's how we're going to make up for. That's really how we can afford to have a higher cost per acquisition on customers.
Interesting. And then like you could set it up to where all the billing and everything is done through the app. And then the specialist could track all their notes and stuff back in the app. So that way there's retention of, getting back to the app for the information that like, it's not like, oh, here's a Google sheet or something, like here's the call, here's the notes from your last call, and it's in the app.
Ooh, that's really interesting. That's
Get that
interesting. That's like a whole other feature on its own. Yeah,
get
that's a
that
good idea.
retention. Because with passion fruit, there's always like the question of like why am I paying 15%? And one time I asked the contact, I was like, what's your email? I'll send you the invoice. And then passion fruit flagged that in their system and then sent me an email saying, hey, warning, you have to make sure that you do the transaction or we're going to kick you off the platform.
Interesting. Very interesting.
And I was like, okay, well, other than getting deals, why am I using this site? Like there is no reason really. Like I don't use it for my media guide or rate sheet anymore because I went back to using my Canva template for that because my stats are just going up and down, and it's easier for me to update a Canva template and download it as a new PDF than it is to update this passion fruit website.
You should tell them that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe
Whatever. Yeah.
that'd be
Anyway.
that would be helpful for them, but
Yeah. Passion
but for
fruit.
you, I think that there's a clear way to get people back into the app for a reason. That reason could be the call notes, analytics, reports, advice.
Mm-hmm.
You could do one-on-one consultations. You could upsell to being able to chat with that consultant through the app, maybe. I mean, kind of run it like a course almost.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good idea. I'll have to think it through. This is a pretty big feature set.
Yeah. But back
Yeah.
to your main point of like deleting stuff and redacting, couldn't agree more. Simplicity is the key to most things. And it's, as I'm sure you have discovered, it's incredibly difficult to be simple.
Yeah. It's just build and delete, build and delete, build and delete. And I noticed the same thing, running an agency, you build different proposals, you have different pricing terms, I don't know how many versions of the website we have. You go through different people, you go through video SOPs. It's just add, remove, add, remove, add, remove. It's just the cycle. That's the cycle of business, but in software, it becomes very real because you can see the hours that you put into dev and design just get thrown in the garbage.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
makes you wish that you had the foresight beforehand. But that's the process of building. It's just how it goes.
Yeah. Well, and now like now you totally see the, like, it's not just a pay 10K to a dev to get something built. It's like now you have employees essentially.
Honestly, doing it again, I would probably say just try to build it yourself because you will foresee a lot of the problems, the usability problems, by trying to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And when I say do it yourself, I mean use like Lovable or use ABC XYZ AI generation tool to help you build the functional prototype.
Yep.
And then see all the problems that you have with it. Like even now, sometimes I'll work on a feature and I think it's perfect, and then I go to make a Loom video to explain it to our devs, and I'm like, wait, hang on, I got to add this other thing that I forgot. So,
Are
yeah.
you doing that in Lovable? No,
Oh,
you're doing it in Figma?
I'm doing it in Figma. Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
Lovable is a good option. It's
that's
probably the better thing to do.
yeah. That's the only thing I use now.
Yeah,
I just
it's
take
fine.
screenshots of different parts of the app that I want to like modify or whatever, and I just drop a screenshot into Lovable, and I'm like, okay, I need to make this change, this change, this change, and then it's a fully functional mock-up that I can do that loom in my head first, like walking through it, and then I can send the devs a link and be like, here it is. And sometimes I don't even film looms now because it's a functional mock-up.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
that
just
makes
like, here's
sense.
how it works. Check it out. So yeah, level's great.
Yeah, I should probably do that more. I think I'm just in my groove. Built it in Figma, share it with the team, turn it Figma into a wireframe, and then make a video.
How long does it take you to do that process typically?
A while. I mean, I'm like building every page.
See, I think that's where this could really speed things up.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I spend maybe like 20 minutes on doing this type of stuff, like 20 minutes of prompting, and then I have my mock-up that I can send to the team, and then I'm back to other things.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That's pretty smart.
Give
All
it a
right.
shot.
Next time. Yeah.
Give it a, give it a shot.
By the way, sorry, I got to stop at the half-hour mark. I've got busy
Okay.
day with the kiddos.
How is everyone?
Yeah, all good.
What's the new kid's name?
Max.
Max. Nolan Max.
No one Max. Yeah. But
Nice.
yeah, build and delete, man. It is crazy. It's also interesting to see when we launch an update how it affects churn because one of the things we've been updating so often, unfortunately, is our nap math, like predicting the time that the child goes for a nap and they go to bed. And you wouldn't believe how complicated it is. And every time we see like a little bug or a small tweak or things that could be improved, we launch a fix. But over time, these fixes become just Band-Aid fixes because you're like making adjustments for edge cases or for, I initially built the feature for people that are going to use the app, obviously. But I didn't account for someone that is not going to use the app for a day. They're not going to track the sleep for a day. So it's like that fucks up the entire calculation because it's a time-based calculation. It's like how much time passed before the child woke up and fell asleep. So I built it for you use the app naturally without accounting for the fact that some people just skip a day. They don't use it. They forget. Whatever. They aren't using it every day like I am. I open Bambi multiple times a day. I use it for sleep tracking for both of our kids, and it's amazing. But if you don't use it every day, it kind of tweaks things. So anyways, it's interesting to see when we release these version updates, it started where we would make a fix and churn would go down. Make a fix, churn would go down. Then we make a fix and there was like a little up. Make a fix and then churn went crazy. I'm like, fuck, this fix that we built for an edge case, it's just a beginner mistake, that we built for an edge case negatively affected all of our other users. Back to the drawing board. So we went back to the drawing board, threw a bunch of other Band-Aids at it, and our dev said, he's like, look, I built what you wanted, but I don't have a lot of confidence in this. It's like we're building for so many if-then situations, so many what-if scenarios. So I don't think that we should launch this. It's like I know that you want to fix the churn, but this might just make it worse. So then I go back to the drawing board and I redid everything. I'm talking like 3 days from 7 p.m. to 1 a.m., like just figuring out this equation so that it works for everybody and not these edge cases. And anyway, we finally have it. And then with that came another feature release, but full circle, long and short of it is every time you release an update, coming back to what we first said, it affects every single user. And I made the classic beginner mistake of trying to build for every edge case, for every possibility, when in reality, we need to build the one solution that will work for 99% of people. And then the edge cases, it's just, you can't satisfy everybody.
Or even the 80%.
Yeah, pretty
Like,
much.
Because I remember you said that you added a thing where people can submit new requests or new features, right?
Yep.
Do they have the ability to upvote or downvote other people's features?
Not yet. Right now, it's just an email.
Okay.
And then I'm tracking it internally.
That definitely has helped us validate, oh, is this something that a lot of people want or just like this one? And it's like allowing us to see real data of what people are actually wanting.
Yeah, we have to turn it into an upvote, downvote kind of thing. Just haven't yet.
Yeah.
There hasn't been enough requests. We have like 100 or something requests for Android version. We had 50 requests for milk feeds, which is why we were building that one next. Android, we're going to hold off. I want it to pay for itself when we launch it.
Makes sense. Has the churn, aside from that update, has the churn been bettered?
We were averaging at 14% annual churn before this update, which in mobile app world is pretty good. And then after the update, we're averaging like 114% annual churn.
Oh,
We're like, fuck, this change just broke the core feature pretty much. So then we're, anyway, scrambling to make a fix.
Oh, so that fix isn't out yet.
Well, it's available. I can click publish on it. I can hit publish anytime. It's been available for several days now. But I'm worried that it will make the problem worse. So instead, we're going to do a whole fix. So we're going to fix the sleep thing first, and that will be out either end of day tomorrow or Monday. And then we're working on this whole new feature set with redone onboarding, paywall screen, home screen, plus some added functionality. So that's the big update that's going to take about a month, 3 weeks to a month. And then the fix that I didn't release is being fixed again with this like whole, when I was, spending super late night coding or mathematical work, basically. Mathing. Yeah. That's the fix that's going to be released soon. But anyway,
Damn.
that's that. Sorry, I took over the end of this conversation, but yeah, add, delete, build for the 80%, not for the 20%.
That damn 80-20 rule just keeps rearing its ugly head, huh?
Yeah.
Never fails.
Never fails.
Damn. Well, yeah. Good luck with that. I can't. Hopefully, we'll next week we'll hear some churn prevention updates and it'll drop to 50% or something.
Yeah, I hope right back down to 14%. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Cool.
Good call.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Good chatting with you. Talk to you later.
Thanks, everybody.
See ya.